long before the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles emerged from New York sewers to protect the city. Long before Master Splinter became their legendary sensei. Before the Foot Clan spread its influence across the criminal underworld. There was a young ninja whose life was consumed by vengeance. A warrior whose ambition transformed an ancient brotherhood into an international criminal empire. A man feared by heroes and criminals alike. His name was Oroku Saki. The world would come to know him by another, the Shredder. Today, this is the complete story of the Ninja Turtles' greatest nemesis. Unlike many great villains, Oroku Saki's path seemed almost predetermined from birth. He was born into an ancient Japanese clan, the Foot Clan, one of the oldest and most feared ninja organizations in history. The Foot Clan was far more than a school of martial arts. For centuries, they had trained assassins, spies, saboteurs, warriors capable of eliminating even the most powerful enemies and not leaving a trace behind. From childhood, Saki's life revolved around the discipline, combat, and absolute loyalty that the Foot Clan demanded of its soldiers. He quickly proved himself to be one of their brightest students. But there was an event to come that would shape his destiny, one that had nothing to do with combat. Instead, it was a matter of family honor. Saki was not the only member of his lineage to command respect within the Foot Clan. His older brother, Oroku Nagi, was also a highly respected warrior within the clan. It transpired that Nagi fell deeply in love with a woman named Tang Shen. Unfortunately, Tang Shen could not reciprocate these feelings, for she loved another, a fellow Foot Clan student, a young ninja named Hamato Yoshi. Unable to accept this rejection, Nagi confronted Tang Shen in a violent rage. Hamato Yoshi had no choice but to intervene against his clan brother. Forced to defend the woman he loved, Yoshi and Oroku Nagi fought to the death. In the end, it was Hamato Yoshi who walked away. Although Yoshi had acted in self-defense, the consequences of his actions were nonetheless devastating. To prevent further bloodshed within the Foot Clan, Hamato Yoshi and Tang Shen fled Japan altogether, seeking a new life in the United States, where they hoped to live in relative peace. But Oroku Saki could never accept his brother's death. From that day forward, his sole purpose in life became revenge. Determined to honour his brother, and in due course avenge him, Saki dedicated himself to completely mastering every deadly technique the Foot Clan could teach him. His intelligence was exceptional, his discipline unmatched, and his ambition limitless. Within a remarkably short time, he rose through the ranks, eventually becoming the Foot Clan's supreme leader. This was not enough for Saki, though. He wanted more than mere authority. He wanted his enemies to fear him before the battle even began. To this end, he commissioned a terrifying suit of armour, modelled on the samurai of ancient yore. But this was different. This armour was covered in razor-sharp steel blades. Underneath that armour, Saki ensured that every movement became a potential lethal attack. Soon, criminals and assassins alike no longer called him Oroku Saki. They instead called him the Shredder. Under Saki's leadership, the Foot Clan entered a new era, forever changed from the days of the secret brotherhood it once was. No longer simply a ninja clan, they became one of the world's most powerful criminal organizations. Under the leadership of this Shredder, their influence spread across numerous criminal enterprises. Arms trafficking, smuggling, corporate espionage, political corruption. Across Asia and eventually North America, the Foot Clan found no shortage of recruits amongst those that society had abandoned. Runaway children, street gangs, disillusioned vagrants. The Shredder offered them all purpose, but in return, he demanded absolute loyalty. Those who betrayed the Foot would seldom live long enough to regret it. Years passed, and the Foot Clan's influence continued to grow, as did the Shredder's personal power. And eventually, inevitably, he found Hamato Yoshi and the woman who had spurned his brother all those years ago. It was in New York, where Saki, along with a number of the Foot Clan's elite guard, tracked down Hamato Yoshi to his home. The confrontation was swift but brutal. Hamato Yoshi fought with all of the skill that had made him one of Japan's greatest warriors. But against the Foot Clan's overwhelming numbers, he never stood a chance. The Shredder murdered both Hamato Yoshi and Tang Shen that night. Doing so, he believed his brother had finally been avenged. He believed the story was over, that he now stood unopposed. He was wrong. One witness to that heinous crime had survived. Hamato Yoshi's ever-loyal pet rat, Splinter. For years, Splinter had watched his master practicing ninjutsu inside their home. An unusually intelligent animal for a rat, Splinter copied every movement, every stance, every technique, committed to his small, yet deep memory. Following the brutal murder of his owners, Splinter escaped into New York's vast sewer system. He survived for a time there alone, until fate intervened. A mysterious canister of discarded chemicals mutated Splinter into a humanoid rat. He now had the capacity to speak, to walk, to act as a human, yet he maintained the outward appearance of a rat. This same substance had also transformed 4 ordinary turtles that had been discarded nearby into intelligent, young, humanoid mutants. Remembering everything that his master had taught him, Splinter raised these turtles as his own sons. From a discarded Renaissance art book that he found in a storm drain, he gave each of them names: Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo. each trained in their own ninja weapon style, as well as in the general fighting art of ninjutsu. Each trained not just to become warriors and defenders of all that is good and proper, but they also trained to ultimately confront the man responsible for their master's death, Oroku Saki, the Shredder. As time went on and the four turtles matured into young adults, conflict with the Foot Clan seemed inevitable. Every criminal organization the turtles disrupted weakened the Shredder's influence. Every battle brought them closer to an inevitable confrontation. Unlike many villains, the Shredder rarely relied upon brute force alone. He preferred careful planning, manipulation, psychological warfare. When battle was essential, however, few opponents could match his skill. His armor turned defense into an instant and brutal attack. His discipline remained absolute. Even together, the four turtles struggled just to keep up with him, let alone overpower him. Throughout the years of confrontations between the two factions that followed, the Shredder's greatest weapon remained not his armor, nor his sword, nor even his thousands of Foot Clan soldiers he had at his disposal. His greatest weapon was fear. His mere appearance instilled great fear in anyone foolish enough to confront him. Entire criminal organizations would submit without even the slightest resistance. Police feared confronting the Foot and their corrupting influence. Even experienced martial artists hesitated to challenge them for fear of what reprisals may follow. Across the years, Shredder has reimagined himself many times. Sometimes he has taken on supernatural abilities. Other times he has commanded advanced technology. At times, he has even managed to evade death itself. Yet one characteristic never changes: his single-minded fixation on revenge. He didn't just want to kill Hamato Yoshi. By going after the Turtles and their master Splinter, he wants to erase every aspect of his former rival's legacy. It is this obsession that defines every decision he makes on the battlefield. What began as a simple revenge story, a tragic dispute between two Japanese rival families, has now grown into one of the most popular rivalries in culture today, spanning 4 decades and multiple incarnations. The Turtles inherited and carried forward Hamato Yoshi's righteous mission to protect the innocent and the weak. The Foot Clan, conversely, carry forward the Shredder's ambition. They seek nothing but conquest at all costs. This has never been simply a battle between heroes and villains. It is a struggle between two opposing philosophies. The Turtles and Splinter believe that their strength exists to protect others. The Shredder believes strength exists purely for the purpose of domination. Neither side could escape the choices made all those years ago, back in Japan. For more than 4 decades, the Shredder has remained one of the most recognizable villains in comic books, animation, movies, and video games. His bladed armor, his unwavering discipline, his absolute mastery of the martial arts, and his command of the mighty Foot Clan makes him the definitive enemy of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Unlike many supervillain origins, the Shredder was not driven by dreams of world domination. His story began with something far more personal. A family tragedy, the loss of a brother, a desire for revenge that burned away until it consumed every part of his life. Had Oroku Saki found it in his heart to choose forgiveness instead of the pathway of vengeance, history may well remember him as one of the Foot Clan's greatest warriors. Instead, he has become its most feared leader, a man whose legacy will forever be linked to 4 turtles, 1 rat, and a war that refuses to die. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of the Shredder, be sure to subscribe to the Supervillain Codex for more origin stories, hidden lore, and complete histories of comic books and wider culture's greatest supervillains. Until next time, remember, every villain has a story to tell.